My name is Kalpana Akhtar and I'm from Bangladesh. I have been working in garment factory about 8 years, and I started when I was just 12 and a half years old. And I had to start because my father was only the person who was earning for our family, but certainly he got ill, so he couldn't support our family. So me and my mom, we decided to work in garment factory. After 6 months, she had some problem with her kidney, so she stopped to work. Then my 10 and a half years old brother, he started to work with me in my factory as a sewing machine helper. Do you have any idea how much was my starting salary? Any guess? What could be?
5
euros for day?
or a week. No, that's the same. No, for a month, I think.
We have like 7 members in family, 4 sisters, 1 brother, and my parents. So we were 7, but the amount we used to earn is like me 3 euros, my brother like 3 euros, and then including the overtime, it was like 10 euros maximum or 9 euros per month. So it was just nothing for our family. So in many days we hadn't food at home, though we had job in the garment factory. There were many factories, they used to pay like every 2 months or 3 months, or you never know when they're gonna pay.
When I used to work, most of the time I used to do this part, which called sleeve join, and the bottom hem. And there is a different operator to do these side seams.
We had to work like long working hour, 14 hours or 15 hours a day, and 21 hours shift. Sometimes it is 15 days in a row, and it was forced to work overtime. It wasn't voluntarily. 20 hours in a day, that means we have 3 hours only to sleep, and that is in production floor, which is quite impossible to sleep. Like myself and sometime in my brother, we worked like 23 days in a row, 21-hour shift. When I was a sewing machine helper, I had to stand a whole the day of my working, even it is 21-hour shift. In Bangladesh, like there is 2.5 million workers working in garment factories, and 90% of them are women workers. But maternity leave, which is very important for women workers who are working there, it used to not paid. The water in Bangladesh is not safe, the first of all, and second, we had to drink water from toilet. I mean, there is a tap in toilet, so we used to use those water for our washing as well as drinking. We had to use toilet cards for using toilets, so there was one card for like 50 persons, 50 workers. So you can imagine, is it possible to have this card do one person can use toilet twice a day? No. Most of the time, no. We had an emergency exits in my factory, and I can remember that during my working time in that factory, fire took place. There was narrow stair, and they have put in many cartons of shipment things in the stair, so it was quite impossible to get through. By that way, people has been injured. Okay.
Yes. This is one kind of pant we also make in Bangladesh, but it's of course simple one. For these, we need like more machines than the T-shirt.
Up to 1994, I hadn't any idea about labor law. I just know that there is my home where I can sleep for a while. I can see my parents and brother and sisters, and there is another place where I spend most of my time. That is my factory. So this was the 2 things in my life. So in 94, the factory manager, they says, oh, we cannot pay you as we used to pay, we're gonna pay you less. And we said, no way. Our factory was like end of the city, but in the mid of the city or main city, there was some uprising by other groups. Some workers started to raise their voice. And then we strike in our factory, though we don't know it is legal or illegal. And I learned labor law. I started to learn. And first day, it was my feeling that it is my second life. And during that time, I was being married with somebody. It was arranged marriage by my family. So that person, unfortunately, he was the relative of my factory owner. So after the labor law class, when I came back, he informed that I went to a labor law class and I learned something, and I have been beaten by him while I have been there. But I didn't stop.
In my country, in 2006, there was a massive uprising across the country. About 800,000 or 900,000 workers came to the street, and they just almost blocked every main streets and said that it is enough, you have to make change, otherwise we will not go back to work. And in the other hand, the consumers in Western world, they put pressure onto the brands and make them accountable to tell their suppliers to respect the worker rights in ground or in the suppliers' countries. So this is the way how change is made in our industry. But it is a long run to go. We need more changes. We need changes in terms of our salaries. We need changes in terms of our freedom of association, which is right to organize and right to bargain rights. So we need them, and without consumers' help, it is quite impossible.
Compared to past and present, there is a pretty good changes. About 90% factories, they are paying on time, whatever the salary is. And about 80% factories are paying new minimum wage, which is 20 euros per month. But it's not enough for our workers. Like our daily meal is like rice, dal, vegetable, and if you want to have some nourishes food, so you should have some meats and fruits and fish, some milk, eggs, which is those nourishes foods is quite impossible to buy with those money. And living with these 20 euros, one mother with 2 kids, it is quite impossible.
If it is sells like, how much it is? I don't know though. If it is sells like 5 euros, so one worker is not earning like 1 cent from this t-shirt anyway.
About 30% factories now providing maternity leave, and many of them are following the international labor standards, but still they do not have union in their factories. They have so-called welfare committee, either participatory committee. In many cases, workers, they do not have their voice on that.
I know that working condition is still bad in Bangladesh and somewhere in producing countries in Asia or Latin America, but the consumers still, they should buy. And in the same time, they should make accountable to the brands that the brands should put pressure into the suppliers to respect the labor law on the ground.
The government used to give advertisement in Bangladesh Airlines, say it like this: you can invest in our economic zone because we do not allow union in that zone. But they have stopped to show that now.